what I do want to say though, man. I did see the first episode of Heels. Finally saw the first episode of Heels. Really like it. I really like the show. I can't wait to continue on that one. But yeah, I'm really digging it. So I did watch the first episode. I'm going to try and get caught up as much as I can. So, but I was going to ask you about like how have you been watching it?
So I saw the first episode. I started to watch the second episode. I got called to do something else, and I
Right.
just never picked it back up. So I will be catching up on Heels like ASAP because CM Punk made his show on like in the show. Like I know he's a part of the cast, but like when I wanted to catch up, I saw he dropped in. I was like,
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to continue on with that journey because that first episode was so solid, so strong. Like I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, man, I just wanted to bring that up because I felt it was worth mentioning. So
I liked. We can talk about the first episode with no doubt. I know they're on episode 7 now or 8.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna talk about it, we might as well save it for later. So just go ahead and throw that in on TV time. But yeah. All right. So hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Nerds of the Round Table, we're back. Took a week off.
Happy birthday, Dad.
That's right. It was my dad's birthday last Friday. So we couldn't do a show because I was spending time with my pops. So, by the way, he did say to say thank you, Cliff. I did tell you. He said happy birthday. So he said thank you. He appreciates it. But yeah, so, family comes first. It always does. So there it is. But we're back. Swag's not with us. As you can see, the red dog, Cliff Miller, he is with us today. I am, of course, Antonio Padilla. Let's get into it. Cliff, we got some stories. Actually, you know what we have a lot of today that I didn't realize? We got a lot of trailers. A lot of trailers. So let's talk about this one first because this dropped during the week that we didn't do a show, but this is something that we've been talking about on the show for a long time, and we finally got our first footage. We finally got a trailer for The Sandman on Netflix. Cliff, did you see this trailer yet?
I have not, but I'm super excited to like actually be able to get my live reactions on the Sandman trailer because we've talked about this a few times actually.
Oh, no. Talked about it a bunch. But yeah, man, this trailer did like everything to get me excited. Like, oh my god, like everything about this trailer, from just like one of my favorite actors of all time, Charles Dance, being featured prominently in this trailer, and like everything that's happening, like just building up the arrival of Dream is just like, it got me so hyped, man, so excited. And I'm so excited for this show, man. I am, because it's, this is one we've talked about it a lot on the show. Like they've been trying to get this made for so long, whether it was going to be a movie, it was going to be a TV show, it was going to be an animated series at some point, and then like Joseph Gordon-Levitt was involved at one point, and obviously he's not involved anymore. But regardless, like we got footage, we saw a trailer, like it's happening, it's awesome. Like I'm super excited about this, man. I'm gushing about it. Like I'm so excited. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I'll be as we're like legit talking about, I was watching it. I legitimately excited the way it's like kind of filmed. Like it kind of feels like that late 1980s, early 1990s kind of like film kind of. Maybe earlier than that. We'll go 70s, 80s, kind of early 80s kind of film style, and like just all of a sudden, bam, we're in HD, and I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. Just that touch in the trailer, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you should do some of these kind of shows.
I love this, man. Because you're right, man. Like the visual style that they present you with is it gives you that surreal type of atmosphere, which is very appropriate to this story. So yeah, man, I'm just excited, man. I'm super excited. And like I said, we talked about the cast, but I gotta say again, the cast is phenomenal. Like I said, my boy Charles Dance, amongst the many, many other people who were in the show. That it looks good, man. It looks good. I'm excited to watch it. That's really all I can say. Because again, we didn't get a whole lot of footage. This wasn't like a 3-minute trailer or anything. But I'm excited, man. I think it looks great.
I like Netflix's style of trailers, by the way. Like you get like
Yeah.
that sneak peek, like it's like you're like ah. I'm genuinely like I love seeing those. Just especially with like with every trailer they come out with is always like that. Hey, we're gonna show you like a quick clip. Shut off.
Oh, did you not see the actual trailer?
No, I just saw the Netflix quick hit trailer.
Oh
So
no, there's like an actual trailer, but it's only about 1 minute and 7 seconds long. But it's like it's like a
okay.
legit. Here, let me send. I'll drop it to you in the Discord.
Oh wait.
Yeah,
So you said it's like 1:12, right?
1 minute 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to ask people because I was like the trailer I saw was from Netflix and it was just like the
Yeah, it's on the Netflix channel as well, but it's like I said, it's like basically a you see Charles Dance and he's doing the ritual
Mhm.
to awaken like all that. Is that the one you saw?
Yeah, that's when I was
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Because that's like, and
You
then
got the
like,
feather and everything in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what I
this
saw.
trailer.
I was just genuinely just excited.
So, like I said, yeah, no, like for real, man, for real, because it's like I said, that build up to the moment when he appears is like, it's so good, man. It's so good.
Just even like watching it like on low volume, dude. Like not being able to just visually, like I said, man, this is just one of the most. It's a stunning trailer, and I love the mix between like that 1980s standard definition to today's high def, and you just get that clash in the appearance, and then it's just like Sandman. I'm like, I know there's so much more going on to this, and I love it.
I know, man. Like, I can't wait to see all the other characters, man. Like, it's great because they mention death, but we don't see death. So I'm like, this is gonna be so good. But yeah, man, I cannot wait to see this show in its entirety. Was there a release date on that, Cliff? Did you catch one?
Actually, so it's funny because I still have it up, but
I know it's coming out next year.
yeah, they don't have a date for it.
Right. Damn, that sucks. But
We did
hey,
mention that David S. Goyer wrote this, right?
yeah, we mentioned like it's being showrun by Neil Gaiman, the creator of Sandman, and yeah, there's executive producer and writer David S. Goyer, one of the great. Cliff and I, he's a big hero of ours, like
I
like
genuinely, every time I see Goyer's name pop up, whenever he writes anything, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
let's be real. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of The Uninvited. That's neither here nor there. But,
right.
like, the Dark Knight series, like, can we be real?
Blade.
Sudden, was it sudden, it wasn't Sudden Impact, Sudden Death, right? With Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Did he write that?
Yeah, he
Oh,
wrote,
I didn't
I
realize
think it was,
that.
yeah, I think that
Super
was the one.
underrated flick from the '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. No, I didn't realize that was him. But like, no, like straight up, man. Like, we always talk about like Blade. He wrote the Blade trilogy. Regardless of how you feel about Trinity, he wrote those movies. Wrote the Dark Knight trilogy. Uh, Pretty much anything. Like he's doing less superhero stuff nowadays, which I get it. The man spent so much time in that realm. He wants to do other stuff, but like, man, like the dude's everywhere. Like I said, like me and Cliff looked up to him, still look up to him. Like he's a big influence on the two of us. So I'm with you, Cliff. Every time I see his name attached to something, I also get real excited. So it's like, yeah, man, I love it.
It was Death Warrant. That's the one he wrote.
Okay, there it
I
is.
was like,
I mean, you were on the
Sudden
right
Impact.
path. You were on the right path.
Yeah. I was like, I know he wrote a Jean Claude movie, but then yeah, we talk about okay. I know we kind of like keep gushing about David S. Goyer, man, but and talk about his work just in the comic world, man. Just everything that man touched in the comic world was just massive.
Oh yeah. Oh
'Cause
yeah.
he
Time.
wrote, a lot of people didn't like it, but we love City of Angels. The Crow, the second Crow, like we love that movie, and like he wrote that, and it was amazing. Dark City was phenomenal, man. Like,
Yeah.
I could go
Oh,
on.
yeah, Dark City is great, man. If you guys haven't seen that movie, go check it out. It's so worth watching. Especially right now. It's spooky season. Go watch Dark City. Good movie. Great movie. But yeah, man, like I mean we can go on and on about like just discussing this man's filmography, but like look, man, he's involved, great. Neil Gaiman, great. I think that's a great team to have on board to bring this project to life. So can't wait to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen the trailer for the Sandman, let us know what you thought of it. Are you excited to see it? I bet you are. So we'd love to hear about it. All right, let's talk about we got the final trailer for Dune. Cliff, did you see this trailer yet?
I did see that one.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so hyped for this movie. And I didn't realize it was coming out this month. Coming out in October. I thought it was December. I don't know why I had that in my head. So, but no, it's coming out this month. October, if I'm not mistaken, the 22nd. Yeah, that's right. What do you think, man? Are you like I know we're excited about it, but what do you think of this trailer, man?
It's just every time I look at it, man, it gets more and more intense, and I get more and more excited about it. And mind you, like I didn't read the books, and I didn't even watch the original. So like, or I don't say the original film for Dune. I just didn't see it. So for me, like I'm just captivated by something that I just have no idea what it's about. So I genuinely get to have like this like take on a movie. I know it's about a book. I know it's a book, okay, but this take on this movie that I have no prior knowledge to. So it's gonna be unique. We'll put it that way.
Well, see, and that's what makes me feel good because it's like I am someone who read the book and I've seen the previous adaptations of it, and it's like I'm super excited watching all this footage and stuff because it's like I know I said it when that first trailer dropped. I was like, this is exactly what I saw in my head when I read the book. So it's like me getting excited on that level, but also seeing someone like you, who, as you've said, has no prior exposure to this, aside from like being aware of it.
Yeah.
But like the fact that you're still getting excited about it, almost on the same level that I am, like that's very reassuring. The fact that it has that kind of appeal. So yeah, man, like, I can't wait to see this movie, man. I'm so hyped. I've gotten so many people like I've been showing people the trailers. Like I know you don't know what this is. Like just watch this, and then like it's over, and they're just like, "Oh my god, I have to see that right now." It's like, yeah, man. So yeah, October 22nd, dude. Like so soon. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be watching it day one. That's for sure. What about you, Cliff?
Yeah. If not day one, it's definitely gonna be within like that weekend. Cause any other part too that we're not really, we're gonna get a possibility of Aquaman versus Drax fight. Like, come on, man. Let me get all of this. Let me get all of this.
It's one of those things that I'm like, I think I've said it before on this show where I'm like, every time I watch one of these trailers, it's that thing where I know certain things that are going to happen. It's like, I wish I didn't know those things because I wish I could go into this blind, but like, I'm so spoiled on it. But yeah, man, I'm with you, Cliff. I'm with you.
And like, I'm not even like, I'm like, yo, but there's like so much other cool stuff going on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just genuinely like all the, I don't know, man. To me, I guess like all the superheroes that are attached to this film, like I'm just genuinely like, I get excited for it, and I'm like, I shouldn't because they're not the superheroes, but I'm like, yo, it's fucking Aquaman.
I know. And by the way, is this trailer the most we've seen of Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, this one really shows him off. Which, hey, I'm all for it. I'm here for it. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for this, man. Like, just hurry up and get here. October 22nd. That's what I'm saying. I need it. Need it. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there is Dune coming at you October 22nd. The final trailer is available for you to watch. If you've seen it, let us know what you thought. And are you excited for Dune? I bet you are. And if you're not, what's wrong with you? But hey, to each their own. All right, Cliff, let's talk about our next trailer. This is a trailer I've been waiting for all year. And not only did we get the first trailer, we actually got two different trailers for this one. I don't know if you saw both of them, Cliff. There was a US trailer that was released, and I saw this trailer. It was the first one I saw. Obviously, it was the U.S. trailer. And look, I thought we're talking about the trailer for Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Now, I saw the trailer when it dropped, and I thought it looked good. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I like what they're doing. I think the visuals, the fact that they recreated so much iconic imagery from the games, including the iconic, the zombie who looks over the shoulder at you in the hallway. Like that shot alone had me so excited because I was like, yo, they nailed it. They got it. I'm into it. That being said, the international trailer, Cliff, blew my mind. Like the international trailer was such a better trailer in like how it presents the story and the tone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I thought the US trailer was great. Thought it was great. Got me excited, got me hyped. But the international trailer, I was like, why wasn't this the domestic trailer? Because this was really good in terms of like the tone and the atmosphere. But I saw both of them. I'm excited for this movie. Cliff, what about you?
Yeah, so I saw the US trailer and I was like, oh man, I was like, this is so good. Like I legit right now as we're talking, like the international trailer is like playing underneath. So like if you see me looking down, it's because there's something that caught my attention. But I definitely, yeah, you're right. Like so all the visuals that we got with like, the zombies obviously looking over his shoulder, like you talked about, like just the great visual throwbacks. Our favorite animal is back. I'm so hyped about my hellhounds just like running around.
Yes. Oh my god. So good.
The setup for this whole movie, like I genuinely was like, oh man, this is gonna be brutal, and I'm here for it 100%. And I'm glad that we started off too. Like if you saw like the date back, it was like September 1998, and I was like, hey, I was in junior high.
Yeah, that's another thing I love is like it's set when the games were, like they're not modernizing it. Like it's taking place right now. It's like, nope, we're going back to the 90s where it all started. And I appreciate that. I really do.
I do. And then like the death scenes that we got, the the semi truck like right there at the beginning, just all sorts of cool stuff that happens. And I just love the teases of like all the villains that we're getting in, and we're not even talking about like Nemesis, but we're talking about like original like freak you the fuck out kind of
Like
jump scare.
And the Cerberus and the like man, there's so much. When they show you the scene where the liquor is crawling on I was like, bro, that's straight up from the games. Like I'm not even
Yes, the throwbacks that we're getting, man, I'm so hyped about.
Yeah. No, these trailers, man, like I said, like they did such a, and again, like I'm sure it was weaponized that way towards people like me and you to be like, look at this, it's the stuff from the game. You love this stuff. It's like, I do love that stuff. That's what I've been waiting to see in live action all this time. So thank you. It's like, thank you for finally giving me. Again, I liked the other Resident Evil movies, the previous ones. I really did genuinely like those movies. But like, this is what I've been waiting to see. Like, no joke. Oh, what's up? I see someone behind you, Cliff.
Yeah, my pup decided he want to hang out for a bit.
You sure he doesn't have the T virus?
Yeah, he's not a hellhound, and if he is, I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, it's I Am Legend all over again. Oh man.
Our audio listeners just hear us laughing. They have no idea that I legit just put my dog in a chokehold.
That's why y'all should be watching the YouTube show. Look, I appreciate our listeners for being hardcore listeners, but like, come check out the YouTube show. It's pretty good. But yeah, Cliff, any other thoughts on the Resident Evil?
No, I can't wait. I can't wait till we get this to drop, because like I am hyped that we're like revisiting, and I know that we're remaking this movie and it was a huge success the first time around. I can't wait to see what we got with updated visuals. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so psyched, man. I kind of treaded a little lightly bringing this up, but it's like, yeah, I saw some haters online trashing the movie, but like, get out of here, man. Like, like whatever, homeboy. Like, I'm excited about this. This is, like I said, this is stuff I've been waiting to see in live action for over 20 years at this point. I'm gonna enjoy this. I don't care what anybody says. Like,
Facts.
yeah, stay mad. I don't care.
And you
But yeah,
can't be
so
mad. Dum Dum Duggan is in this.
I know. Like,
Throw to another superhero.
again, such a great cast. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. But yeah, so this is dropping on November 24th. Odd weekend to release this movie, but I'll take it. I'm not complaining. So
I
there it
feel
is,
like,
ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead.
isn't there something else dropping in November? Isn't that when Hawkeye, like around that same date, is when Hawkeye
Yes,
drops?
yeah, Hawkeye is dropping around the same time.
See, it's gonna be such a busy week, busy month for us.
Oh yeah. Well, I was saying like it's gonna be so big because like Dune is dropping this month. We got Resident Evil next month and Hawkeye. December. What's happening in December? Something big is happening in December.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. There's something else though.
Isn't Carnage coming out too?
No, that already came out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I haven't watched that yet.
That came out last week. There's something big happening in December, and I just can't. Oh, The Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. So yeah, Spider-Man, The Matrix, happening in December. Bro, these next couple months are gonna be insane. So
Yeah.
but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what you thought of either or both of the Resident Evil fucking Raccoon City trailers. I'm excited. Let us know if you're excited, and yeah, love to hear from you. All right, Cliff, let's talk the news. We got two stories. One of them broke today. I don't know if you saw this, Cliff. We are getting a sequel series to That 70s Show titled That 90s Show, starring Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp as Red and Kitty Foreman. They are going to be the stars of the show, and I'm really excited about this, man. Look, I am going to acknowledge that 80s show, but let's be real. How many of you actually remember that show existed prior to me just saying it right now? But that was a spin-off. That was not a sequel series or whatever. That was a spin-off. Whatever. We've acknowledged it. Let's talk about this, because I was waiting for this, Cliff. Like, I always had it in the back of my head, like, they could do that 90s show, right? Like, they could totally do that. And they're doing it. So I'm into it, man. I love it. I love Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp. I love them so much as these characters, and I'm excited to see them return and bring us more stories. And if you haven't read the article and whatnot, it's going to be set in 1995, and Red and Kitty are apparently going to be taking care of Eric and Donna's daughter. And this is the part that made me smile. Their daughter's name is Leia. Like, Eric, still being the Star Wars dork that he is, named his daughter Leia. So, and that was like, that's totally on brand. So she's visiting her grandparents for the summer, and the plot is she meets new kids in Point Place, and that's what the show is going to be. It says that there are no deals in place for other That 70s Show cast members to return to the series, but some of them will most likely be making guest appearances. So yeah, Cliff, how do you feel about this, man?
I mean, if we can get some other people to come back and guest appearance, I feel like, to be honest, I feel like it's like Fuller House. Like, I loved Full House. I love That 70s Show. I loved Fuller House, even though I didn't watch all 4 seasons. I watched 2 of the 4. I know I'm gonna love the 90s show. I liked the 80s show, even though it was really just kind of like that quick, and it wasn't as funny as the 70s show, obviously. But that was just Fox trying to, hey, let's try this thing out. But for the 90s show, I'm definitely excited that we're getting Red and Kitty back, because I feel like that's pretty much like the heart and soul of That 70s Show. So we're gonna get the heart and soul back, and I just can't wait to hear dumbass.
For real, man. And he's going to have so many good ones in the 90s. Like, because I was thinking about it, dude. 1995. Think about that. like at the height. That's when the 90s were the most 90s. Like, you know what I mean? Like X Games were going on that time. This was around the height of the grunge movement. Like that's going to be really like that's what I'm most excited about, you know? And I think we'll get some great jokes about Star Wars specifically. Cuz again, Eric was a huge Star Wars fan. Obviously he named his daughter Leia. But I'm wondering if we're going to get some jokes about how like foreshadowing the prequels, cuz again, like this is 4 years before The Phantom Menace. So I'm sure they're gonna sneak in a joke in there, you know, somewhere. So like some stuff like that makes me excited. I'm really happy. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see this.
I need some Alanis Morissette jokes to be brought into this, and more importantly, I need Red to be like, "Why are you going to the mall?" Okay, like, well, I want to go see the movie called Mallrats, a movie about kids hanging out at a mall. No, dumbass.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. That's what I'm talking about. Like the '90s is so ripe for material like that. I'm excited. I love that '70s show, man. Like just like anybody else who watched that show, I watched it on loop over and over and over again. So yeah, man, I'm excited for this. I'm super excited. And yeah, like you, man, like look, what's Wilmer Valderrama doing that he can't show up on this show? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's that busy right now. I could be wrong. I love you, Wilmer, but like, come on, let's be honest.
I know Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are doing their mom and dad thing and trying to teach their kids about pits, slits, and tits, whatever she was talking about in a radio interview.
Whatever that
You
was.
got time to come on and just be a guest appearance.
Right? And what better, like, come on. They got married in real life. Like, come on. Bring your kids, have your kids play your kids on the show. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
I think it makes sense. But yeah, no, I think, look, there's got to be some kind of reunion, right? Whether it's in the finale of season 1 or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm just excited. I'm excited that this is a thing we're gonna get. So,
what do you think they're gonna? Okay, let's forecast this just for fun, right?
Okay.
What do you think they're gonna do with Danny's character?
See, I was thinking about that because again, I'm gonna tread lightly on this because it's a thing that I don't really want to talk about. Like, look, we all know Danny Masterson did not turn out to be such a great dude, and he's currently serving time for his, rightfully so, for his crappy behavior. But I did think about it, Cliff. I did think about it. Would it be all that surprising if Hyde were in prison?
Would
it be that surprising? I did think about it. I was like, if they just said something about Hyde being in prison, like, there you go. Done. Taken care of.
They just said the 80s got to him. He's in rehab. Like
that's why we don't see him. He's
yeah, not around.
I did think about it though, because I was like, they're gonna have to say something. So I don't.
You have to dress. And also, you know, like the one thing that made that show like synonymous. I saw it in an article I was reading too about that '90s show. You got to have the camera, like the table camera. It has to be there.
Yes, I agree. See, now I'm starting to think about other stuff too, like. And again, you could totally do that. It was the '90s. It's not like that wasn't happening. So yeah, man. I'm into it, man. I can't wait to see. I'm super excited about this. So but there, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think. Are you excited for that '90s show? Are you as excited as I am, being a child of the '90s?
And what jokes are you looking forward to seeing on that '90s show?
Exactly. Let us know. Let your creativity fly.
I need a Full House joke. Oh my god, I'm not thinking about it. Like, I need a Full House joke somewhere in here.
A Full House joke. What do you think the odds are we get like a Boy Meets World reference?
You know, because it's funny you bring it up. because it's Disney and we're talking about Netflix, I don't think we get one. But the fact that Fuller House is on Netflix,
Yes.
I could definitely see a lot of Miller Boyette jokes, like Family Matters, Step by Step, Full
Yeah.
House.
No, see, I was also going to bring that up too, like Family Matters. Totally. You could totally do that.
I need something about. I want her to like do it. She wants to like film a video, right? And be like, what do you need a film for? Like, well, there's this TV show that's going to be on one of these stations about 7 strangers living together. Like, so much
Oh
good
my
shit.
God.
Yo,
Dude, I didn't even think about all the MTV stuff you could do. And I know MTV blew up in the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying that. But, like, again, 95, this was, like, the height of, like, MTV culture. And, like, bruh. Dude, you just opened up a whole new possibility. Like, oh, I'm even more excited now. Holy crap. Okay.
the boy band references, man. The boy band
All the
references.
boy you even get New Kids on the Block at that point, bro. Oh my God. Oh, dude.
Wilder
See what
Valderrama comes popping in and singing Menudo.
dude, I didn't even think.
Yo, that just like the levels of shit that you could just throw out there. Oh my
Stuff
God.
you could get away with. Oh my God.
And
Dude,
it's on
all right.
Netflix.
We got to move. Yeah, exactly. It's on Netflix. What do you think the odds are, like, they actually let Red say some of the stuff he wasn't allowed to say on that 70s show?
Oh, it's super high.
Oh, yeah. The odds are pretty good. Dude, we got to move on, because otherwise we're going to be here all day speculating and writing our own fan fiction. So,
They're mad
ladies
because they didn't come out with it.
I know, right? We're going to set ourselves up for disappointment. Oh, man. Okay, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, are you excited for that 90s show? Let us know. And like Cliff said, let us know stuff you're looking forward to, stuff you think they might and should do. All right. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, oh no, he just had another one.
Yeah.
He just had what was it, Cliff?
Just
I got
imagine
it.
imagine Red watching TV talking about girls in orange bathing suits. The Baywatch references that we can get.
Dude, I
There's
just
so
like
much.
stuff I wasn't even.
We talk about the next generation, bruh.
Dude, it's like, come on, man.
All the pop
Next-
culture references are just coming back. It's just flowing, man. I'm just like, oh damn.
Batman the animated series.
Batman.
Batman. All the movies. That 1995. That's the year Batman Forever came out. You could do a whole episode about that, because you remember how huge that movie was, Cliff. You remember how huge it was, bruh. All right, seriously, we gotta move on now. We're gonna be here all day. We're gonna be here all day. All right, Cliff, let's shift into something that's a bit more appropriate to the season. Again, we're gonna talk about some spooky stuff. It's October, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, October 8th, 2021. Just a few weeks out from Halloween. So let's talk about something a little bit more appropriate. And I am, of course, talking about the long-rumored, long-gestating remake of the horror classic, Clive Barker's brainchild, Hellraiser. Now, I'm a big fan. Big fan. I have mad respect for that original Hellraiser. I've read the book, the novella that it's based on, The Hellbound Heart. Just a quick little recap. I dated a girl years and years and years ago. She was a huge fan. And because of that, I became a fan. Like, I was always aware of it, and I had a lot of respect for it. I had never actually consumed it until I was dating this girl, and she got me into it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is on, like, a whole nother level. I have been exposed to something that's, like, game-changing in my head. So that was the moment that made me a big fan. And, like, as a gift, I tracked down a copy of the original novella for her, because I knew it would mean the world to her. Gave it to her, and it, like, as you would expect, she was like all over the moon about it, because she had never read it before. And because she read it, I read it with her. And so I've obviously, like I said, I read the source material for it. And so I've got another level of understanding. I set all that up so we can talk about this actual news story. The news story is not that the remake is actually happening, although that is of course a news story in and of itself because they've been trying to do it. Seems like 20 years at this point. But we have some casting, and this is what I want to talk about specifically. So, Jamie Clayton has been cast to play Pinhead in the new Hellraiser. Now, this news story is a bit confusing, Cliff. I don't know if you actually read the article. They apparently have already filmed this, but they only just announced the cast now, which I was like, how did you guys get away with filming this thing and nobody knew, and you're only now announcing the cast? That should be a whole story in and of itself. Regardless. Yes. Regardless. The cast, actress Jamie Clayton is playing Pinhead. Now, as you know, Pinhead was originally played by Doug Bradley, and he crushed it, was iconic, phenomenal, just great, just fantastic, like I said, iconic. Now, obviously, Jamie Clayton is a far cry from Doug Bradley in many, many ways. Let's talk about it. She is a trans actress, and that's cool to me because, as I said, I read the novella. In the novella, Pinhead is described as being of an indiscernible gender, meaning it is neither male nor female. It's a freaking demon. It can be whatever it wants. So the fact that they're going this direction with the casting, I'm so into it, man. Thumbs up across the board. And I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. Clive Barker is an executive producer on this movie, which he has not had any involvement with the franchise since, I think, Hellraiser 3? I think? Let that sink in. Because, realize how many sequels there have been to this franchise since then. But he is apparently on board as an executive producer, and there are other cast members and whatnot. But this one specifically was the one that they announced because obviously they knew this was going to generate a lot of buzz, a lot of word of mouth, whether it was good or bad, because obviously there's going to be people who are upset. But like I said, in the source material, Pinhead, neither male nor female, not even referred to as Pinhead in the novella. It only ever referred to as the lead Cenobite. Pinhead was something they came up with in the second movie. So I'm on board, man. I think this is dope. Cliff, what about you? I've rambled on long enough. I want to get your opinions on this.
I love the fact that we have Jamie Clayton involved. Sense8 was an awesome show, so we gotta give big shout outs. The crazy part is who else wrote this story, because we talked about this man earlier, David S. Goyer. And anything he touches, that man turns to gold.
Yes. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot to mention that in my but yes, David Goyer. But go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead.
Yeah, so David S. Goyer is one of the writers for it, so it's definitely a hype to watch. And I'm excited, just knowing that he's attached to the film. And then of course, she's gonna kill it. So I can't wait to see what she does with the role. And then, I mean, the cast itself is gonna speak for itself. Oh. So trust me when we see it. But you're right though that it is kind of crazy that this already been filmed, and nobody knew that this was a thing. What?
That was so surprising because, like I said, they announced Jamie Clayton as Pinhead, and I was like, "Oh, cool, we got some cast." And then it's like, movie's already been filmed, it wrapped, and I was like, "Wait, what?" You can't just say that. You got to give me a bit more information on this. Also, yeah, man.
Big shout outs to Spyglass for wanting to go out and do this movie. And obviously, I think it's a collaboration with Spyglass and Hulu, but the fact that Spyglass is involved, because I'm not really too familiar with a lot of their horror films. If you would have told me they're coming back out with this, I would have figured Blumhouse was the one that was coming with this film. But yeah. Yeah. But to see Spyglass, I was like, oh, okay. I see you are now making this move as well.
Yeah. but smart on their part. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's like, yeah, man. Like I've been see again. Like this is gonna sound so weird because I didn't even know they filmed this already. But it's like I've been keeping up pretty well with like the development of the remake for years, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, they already shot it. I was like, what? You serious? How? There should
Come
be a
again?
there should be a documentary just on how they pulled this off. Like I'd watch that. But yeah, so like you said, like this is a collaboration between Spyglass Media and Hulu. So that means like this is gonna go to Hulu, which is great because it means I can watch it as soon as it comes out. Yeah, man, I'm super excited about this, dude. Like for real. Like this is one of those things that, again, I knew they've been trying to remake it for seems like 20 years now, but it's like, yeah, like I read the story, and I'm like, awesome, good job, dope, I'm into it, let's do it. So, yeah, man.
I just can't wait to see that scene where like Pinhead comes out and then like also changes and just kind of goes fluid gender wise to like lure people in. It's just the scenes, the transformations are going to be so awesome. I'm with all of this. I can't wait.
I can't wait as well because like we also got Candyman this year, which is another Clive Barker creation that got, well, this new one, again, like I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's a sequel, not a remake, not a reboot. I know that's how they presented it, but it's a sequel. If you've seen it, you know. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm glad Clive Barker projects are coming back, because that man criminally under. I know he has his fan base and people respect the things he's created in his career, but like I'm kind of glad to see a resurgence of those things in pop culture, in mainstream media, because it's like that dude created some of the greatest horror films of all time. Like I said, like Candyman, the original Hellraiser, even Lord of Illusion, which is criminally underrated. Great flick. Yeah, man. I again, a lot of respect for the man and his creativity. So yeah, I'm really excited to see this movie for sure. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Let us know what you think. Are you gonna be watching this? I know I'm gonna be watching it. Pretty sure Cliff will be as well. So let us know what you think. All right. That's it for the news. Let's get into some TV time. Cliff, I know you're not caught up. We talked about this a little bit before we got into it. I do want to talk a little bit. I want to start with Titans. Now, I am caught up. I know you haven't seen this week's episode, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but these are just going to be my general thoughts on this week's episode and last week's episode, because
I saw that one.
My feelings are the same on both episodes. So I'm just gonna put this out here, dude. What the like, seriously, what happened to the show? This season started out amazing, and especially with the episode Souls, like we talked about that episode on the show. I think we all gave it a 10 out of 10. What happened, Cliff? Because these last two episodes are not it for me. Like, I'm not feeling it at all. Last week's episode, it was over, and I was like, what was the point of any of that? What was the point? Like, why? And then this week's episode was the same thing, but for reasons that, again, I can't spoil it for you, but it's like they telegraphed something so early in the episode that when a certain moment happened that should have been a gut punch, just nothing from me. I was like, well, this means nothing because I already know what's going to happen. You telegraphed the resolution to this, and this is supposed to be the big emotional moment, but it means nothing now. And I'm like, so like I was just numb to this episode. I was like, what is this? What's going on? Like, what happened? the season started out so strong, and it was so good, and then it just immediately took a turn. And it's not even like season 2, because season 2 at least made it to the season finale before it fumbled. You know what I mean? We're 2 episodes away from the finale now in season 3, and I'm just like, what happened? Like, this, I was so frustrated by both of these episodes. I legitimately was just like, I don't know, Cliff. How did you feel, man?
You know what? So last week's episode, it was, let's be real, it was definitely slow, right? And I feel like it's because I'm hoping, because again, in storytelling for wrestling, right, you want to take people through these emotional roller coasters, and I feel like Souls was at this point where like the babyface was just finally starting to like get the one up on the villain, and now you're back to what we call heat, right? So you're back to like having to, you have the bad guy on top, and now you have to start rebuilding that story back up. Because you're definitely right. Because like there was a point at the end where in the last episode, spoiler if you guys haven't seen it, because I haven't seen it this week's, but where Donna showed up and she was at Gotham and she like bent that dude's M4, and I was like,
Bro,
that was cool.
I loved that moment. Like there were things about both of these episodes I loved, and unsurprisingly, the things I loved about both of these episodes were Donna. Especially in this week's episode. This is not a spoiler, Cliff. This week's episode, like again, like I know how this is gonna sound because I'm a dude, but like Connor Leslie, the way her hair was done in this week's episode, the outfit she was wearing, bro, she was looking fire, and I was like, Donna, that's a great look. You need to keep that look. So I was, but even more than that, just everything she did in this week's episode was great. I was loving it. There were things I liked about these episodes, but the overall, like, here's what I'm talking. I get where you're coming from, Cliff, with last week's episode,
Right.
but here's what I'm saying about last week's episode. I'll clarify it. They were doing things narratively that, had they paid them off the way I thought they were going to, I would have loved this episode. But they didn't do any of that. And that's why I was just so like frustrated. It's like, you guys literally had the perfect payoff to all of this, and you didn't do it. And that's why I was so frustrated. Like, this makes no sense. Like, narratively, storytelling wise, none of this made any sense. Like, I'll explain it to you in case you don't get what I'm saying. So you remember before we did Souls, it ended with the pipe in Barbara's office breaking, and the contaminated water coming down, right? And then so we come back in this episode, and we don't really get to see what happened there. Like, it's like, oh, we patched it up or whatever, but it's still leaking in her office, right? They show us those things, and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. They had such a perfect setup, and even Dick, remember when he was in the office and he saw the bat on the whatever that thing's called?
Yeah.
What they seem to be implying is that both Dick and Barbara were hallucinating due to the fear toxin, the contaminated water, right? And it reminded me of the episode from Batman the Animated Series called Over the Edge. If everybody out there has seen that episode, you know what I'm talking about. For anybody who doesn't know, it starts with the Scarecrow. It starts with Batman, Batgirl, Robin chasing down the Scarecrow. And, through a series of events, the confrontation, Scarecrow gasses Barbara, Batgirl. And then you see him knock her off of a building. She falls to her death right in front of her father, Commissioner Gordon, who doesn't know that his daughter is Batgirl. And she says to him, Dad, and he like freaks out. He's like, Barbara takes the mask off, finds out it's his daughter. His daughter is Batgirl. He then blames the death of his daughter on Batman, starts hunting down Batman, starts making deals with criminals, the big one being Bane, to take down Batman. And it's this whole thing about how everything went wrong, but it was all because of Scarecrow's fear talk. The episode ends like, you think Batman and Commissioner Gordon are dead, but Barbara shoots up out of her sleep. She's alive. It was all the Scarecrow's fear toxin. That's what this episode should have been. Like, you saw how everything went wrong with the Titans, with Barbara having to open fire on one of her own men, and then her getting arrested because of it. the payoff should have been that both Barbara and Dick were hallucinating because they were exposed to the contaminated water. And they didn't do that. Like, it would have been so easy to pull that off and be like, okay, we understand what the stakes are, because if it could contaminate our heroes like this, what's it going to do to the city?
Right.
But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. And so that's why I was like, wait, so all of this was real. And it's like, and I get making it real and not being a fake out raises the stakes, like it does. But at the same time, it's like, but what was the point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was
Just
the
the way
point of
the way you're like saying it too for our audio listeners. Like, he legitimately has his hands like, I'm trying to think of like the scene, but if you imagine like just a disappointed dad.
Imagine the prayer hands.
Yeah.
That's what I've got in front of my face. And I'm just like, what was the point?
Imagine that. Imagine your dad looking at you, and for those of you who don't know, for everybody, just imagine like that father figure looking at me like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, with the prayer hands. That's exactly how Antonio is right now.
Bro, and that straight up sums up my feelings about this episode. Again, like, yes, I was frustrated when I first saw it, but now it's not even anger or frustration. It really is just disappointment, you know? So, look, that's where I'm coming from. I'm just saying, like, narratively, they were setting up things that were the easiest home run for them to hit, and they didn't do it. So it's like, why? You know, like, why? So that's where I'm at with that episode. But
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Was like, there were moments in there to like make you like pop, but overarching wise, the episode, yeah, it was just kind of, to me, it was kind of lackluster. But you're kind of, you have a best where it's the why, like,
yeah, it's like, why?
like
Why?
the
Why,
meme.
why did we?
Why?
Exactly. And then, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything for this week's episode, but it left me with a similar, again, because it's like, you do things like this episode was the opposite of the problem, where it was like, you set up things, but you set them up before we needed to see the setup. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they got too ahead of themselves, where it's like, well, I know what the resolution to this is before you presented the problem. So now that gut punch moment means nothing. Like, it's like you showed your hand too early. It's like, so this doesn't matter. So I was like, yeah, this week's episode was just straight garbage. You know what I mean? Like, it was just bad. Again, aside from Donna and Tim. Tim came back this episode. There was some great stuff with Donna and Tim. But aside from that, man, like, I was just, nah. Nah. This ain't it.
Yeah. As I say, for last week's episode, I definitely gave it like 7 3/4, like trying to be kind of generous, but Donna was the saving grace for me. Donna's story for last week's episode was the saving grace for me. I love Donna's story, and I made no secret. Okay, I was pissed. I'm very much happy seeing Donna.
Same. Like, I agree with you 100%. Donna's stuff from last week's episode saved it. Like, I was gonna give it a 4, but I will give it a 5 just for Donna. Okay, because Donna, like, bruh, she is single-handedly carrying these last 2 episodes. That I'm not even gonna lie about it.
I low-key think about it like this, right? So we start off with like season 2 or season 3, and we're like, oh man, Jason Todd's story. Jason Todd. Oh, we lost Hawk. Oh, Dove. Oh, and then it was like season 7, and it was like everything else dropped, but then it was like Donna's back.
Exactly. Like, the show is coasting, right? Like, it's reaching its apex. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and then we get to this episode, but Donna's still up here. So straight up,
Donna found the invisible jet. Her story continues.
Donna's doing great. So yeah, and like I said, I was gonna give it a 4 out of 10. I give it a 5 just for Donna. Okay. This week's episode, I'm probably gonna give this week's episode a 2 out of 10. Like that's how bad it was. But if I'm giving extra points for Donna, 4. It's a 4.
I can't wait to watch it now.
Donna bumped it up 2 points. Let's give her that much credit. Okay. But yeah, no, these last 2 episodes, not feeling it, bro. Not feeling it at all. This gave me like season 2 finale vibes. That's how bad. Now again, I'm not turning on the show, okay? Because like I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying these 2 episodes, you could probably just scrap them. That's all I'm saying. I'm really hoping they turn things around with these last 2 episodes. Because yeah, this was not it. So I gotta be honest. I have to be honest with the people. Okay. I'm not gonna pretend to like something I didn't like, and I did not like these 2 episodes. So. Ooh, all right. I wanted to get those out of the way first, so that I'm not being a buzzkill the whole time. So, Cliff, let's talk about something I know you are caught up on. Let's talk about What If. Now, I do want to talk about these last 2 episodes as a whole, because thank goodness for the show for doing something I didn't think anybody would do, and that is they redeemed Ultron. Like, holy crap. Like, this was awesome. This was incredible, because everybody knows I was not the biggest fan of Age of Ultron, specifically because of how they adapted Ultron. When I saw these 2 episodes, I was like, bro, this is the version of Ultron I was waiting to see. And they finally gave it, I mean, albeit in an alternate continuity. I don't care. I'll take it. This was dope. What do you think, Cliff?
I thought it was the most boss thing ever when Thanos showed up and he got cut in half.
Bro, when Thanos showed up and Ultron just, he was like, oh, cut him right now. I literally like shouted out loud, bro. I was like, yo! That was dope.
I didn't see that coming. Like, Thanos can be in 2 places at once now.
Right?
I was like, oh, bruh.
Oh, man.
That was amazing. Yeah, no, you're right though. Like, Ultron definitely was like deemed as the force that he is, because like he's a massive force, and he's a real thorn in the side of like everybody. But see him running around with the paperweights, I was genuinely surprised. I was like, holy, and he's doing some real destruction. And then like,
Yeah.
I love that we were talking about like the Watcher was like giving his narrative, and like all of a sudden Ultron was like, wait, I hear you. And I was like, oh no. And then like the fight between the Watcher and Ultron. Yo, I love he was like, don't ever question my will. And like the battle suit. I was like, oh no.
Dude, like that was some of the greatest stuff I've ever seen. Like straight like you said, like when they were fighting each other, and like every time they were hitting, they were like going to a different like an alternate, like a parallel Earth or whatever. Every time. I was like, what? Like, oh my god, like I can't believe I'm watching this right now. That was insane. And yes, I love that moment. I love that moment when the Watcher is narrating and he was like, in that moment, Ultron became aware of something he wasn't before. And he's like, who is saying that? And like the Watcher didn't even know what was happening. And then he was like, wait, what is like that was such a great moment. And he turns around and looks at him and he's like, I was like, yo, because like straight up, man, like you're saying, like Ultron is supposed to be like a world-ending threat. That's why I did not care for the version we got in live action. And like seeing him again in the armor with the stones, doing all his like, there was a moment, Cliff, and tell me if you got this vibe as well. There was a moment where you saw Ultron like in space and he literally like ate a planet, and I was like, is he supposed to be like a version of Galactus right now? Because that's exactly what that was.
Yep.
That blew my mind, bro. I was like, yo, this, like, they just did some stuff I didn't think anyone was ever gonna do in this universe. Like, that's insane.
Like the level of awesome that Ultron was at, like throughout the last 2 episodes, just
Yeah.
great. And I loved every bit of it, and I was like, dude, just give me more of this Ultron that is just dominating, not just beating people, just destroying timeline after timeline, which makes me question, right? Makes me question. So the Watcher is telling the story in his timeline. Does
Yeah.
that mean that there's another Watcher watching his timeline?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. How it works. The Watcher exists outside of the multiverse, so there is only one, and he is the only one watching. That's how that works. It's kind of, again, like, I don't mean to make the comparison, but that's also how Darkseid works in the DC universe. There's only one Darkseid because he exists outside of the multiverse. Like, the fourth apocalypse in the fourth world is over here. The multiverse is over here. There's only one Darkseid, which, Cliff, I think you'll appreciate this. That means the Darkseid that we saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League, that's the same Darkseid from Superman the Animated Series, the same Darkseid from Smallville, and it's the same Darkseid from Harley Quinn. They're all the same version, which
I can
is
appreciate that.
test, but they're all the same. But that's how the Watcher works as well. There's only one because he exists outside of the multiverse. That's why he can watch all of the multiverse. But yeah, so there you go.
I just
I hope
imagine that the Watcher is watching all of the multiverse, but then there's the Watcher of the Watcher. That's how I just wanted to see it.
I'll be down for that story. Somebody write that. Grant
Yeah,
Morrison.
I know. We have the one above all, but I'm just so the concept of just the Watcher's like, I can never break my oath, and then like the one above is just like, yeah, no shit. Oh, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you.
Well, the thing I love about the Watcher is, like, in the show, he's like, I can never break my oath. I can only watch. I can't interfere. If you've ever read any of the comics with the Watcher, he interferes all the time. Like,
Yes.
that's what I was waiting for in this show, because I was like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna, and what's gonna be the catalyst? And of course, it had to be Ultron. Like, it had to be. But yeah, no, I loved these episodes, man. These last 2 episodes, fantastic. Although I will say this: when the Watcher was putting together the Legends of Tomorrow, oh, I'm sorry, the Guardians of the Multiverse. Why why party Thor? why this version of Thor? Like, you have the entire multiverse at your displeasure. You picked that Thor? Like,
Yeah.
and again, I love that Thor. I love that episode. But, like, that's the version of Thor you picked for your team? I don't know. It's just weird. That was weird to me, but whatever.
I think it was there for a comedic purpose, like only because like otherwise, like
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. There's hundreds of thousands of Thors that you could have picked from, and you
Wait.
chose like the one whose legit war cry was "Viva Las Vegas."
Right? And he
Not
even
that I'm against that,
so
because I love
yeah, no.
that Ultron was like, I've never heard that war cry before.
Like that. I've never heard this one before. Yeah, no, I liked it, but that's such a weird choice. But I do want to talk about real quick. So in the finale, we see a version of Gamora and Tony Stark, and Gamora's on the team. It felt weird to me that these two characters just like appeared, right? I did some digging and I found out we lost an episode.
Mm.
Like, there was a whole episode about that version of Gamora and Tony Stark on Sakaar. It was going to be Thor Ragnarok, but with those two characters. And there was even footage from it in the trailer for What If. Like, I found all this out, but apparently the episode got scrapped due to COVID issues. Like, they just didn't have the time and resources to finish it because everyone was, so displaced and working on other stuff at the same time. So they just couldn't finish the episode. But they still kept them for this episode, which is weird. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like, oh, they shouldn't have been in the episode then. I'm fine with them being in the episode. It did feel a little bit weird that, we apparently lost a whole episode. Hopefully they'll finish it for season 2 and we'll get it, or maybe they'll finish it and just be like, hey, bonus episode. Our bad. But
yeah, well,
but I just want to go ahead. Go ahead.
You bring up a great point, because in the trailer for the What If series, we had what if the Guardians of the Galaxy saved New York and not the Avengers, and we never got to see that episode.
That's right. So you see, there were episodes we lost.
Yeah.
So,
I do want to bring up a point about the whole entire series, though, and I saw this on a TikTok video. Straw Hat Goofy, thank you for pointing this out. Can we talk about how Tony Stark just got shit on through the whole series?
No, I was going to mention that as well, because I was like, this episode is the only episode that Tony Stark didn't die in immediately. Like, I realized that when I was watching this, before I knew about like the lost episodes or whatever, and I was like, Tony Stark dies in every one of these episodes. Like, what's going on? So yeah, I thought that was funny.
When he made his quip too, he's like, well, she's gonna kick your butt, and then he was just like, not you, Tony, Gamora. Mm-hmm. Like, oh damn. Shut him down,
Stark. And I was like, oh, so the disrespect continues. I was like,
sorry,
I thought that. Yeah. I didn't notice
funny
that.
Because it's funny because we talk about it, right, about like the universe, and so Chaz is a massive dislikes Captain America MCU, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason why he dislikes him is because he's like, Captain America is a fugitive, right? Like, that's his thing. Like, he will die on this hill. Captain America's a fugitive. You mean to tell me he's gonna help Bucky run from the law and protect him and not tell anybody, blah, blah, blah. I was like, then T'Challa needs to be in jail too. And he's like, what? I was like, who's harboring a fugitive in another country? That's a war crime. And he was like, well, wait a minute. I was like, no. We've gone down this route.
Yeah, it's like, you want to go on this twist. Follow. Yeah.
But I just love this twist that Tony is. I mean, we talk about it all the time that in the MCU, Tony Stark is really the bad guy because a lot of his problems he created, and to see in the What If series that he just every episode like he just gets disrespected.
Yeah.
I don't wonder why Robert Downey Jr. didn't want to come back and do the voiceovers.
But also, it's that thing where it's like they also like, again, like, not to open up another discussion about, but it's like they kind of did a similar thing with Thanos. I don't know if you realize that. It's like, because it's like Thanos, big bad, right? Scary guy, unstoppable. It's like, well, T'Challa stopped him with a good conversation. Good argument. And then like zombie Thanos, which I'm still upset we didn't get the payoff to that, but hopefully next season. And then like, again, like Ultron just straight up lasers him in half, and it's like, well, all right, I guess he wasn't that big of a threat after all, but whatever. Look, I'm here for it. I love that kind of subversion of expectation. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad you brought up zombie Thanos, because that scene with all the zombies dropping on Ultron and it.
Yeah.
I loved how he was like, it's what came with the zombies. And then you see like there's Wanda, and I was like, and then Wanda realized she was fucked.
Yeah. No, I also was hoping it was going to be zombie Thanos, and then it wasn't, and I was like, oh, all right.
I was like, yeah,
but yeah, no.
Wanda's face though, like,
yeah, she's like, That's not usually how that goes.
Not good.
I do want to say one thing, because I know we're having fun talking about this, but we do have to acknowledge. Again, I was, as much as I enjoyed these episodes, there was one thing I was not looking forward to, that being that this is the final performance from Chadwick Boseman. However, that being said, I'm glad he didn't die in this episode, because that would have really, really made it difficult for me to watch. But yeah, no, I again, we can't talk about this without acknowledging, like, yeah, this is the last time. This is the final performance, and it's sad. It really is, man. Like, I'm getting kind of emotional talking about it right now, but it's just, and again, like, he passed away a year ago, but it's this thing where I think we're lucky. I think we are, because he passed away suddenly. None of us even knew he was sick. But how great is it that we did get to, I know we didn't get to see him, but it was like seeing him again, So that's beautiful, I think.
And he left on such a great note. Like
Yeah.
the character T'Challa in the What If series, like the way he he was just like, yeah, it's cool, and just like walked off. And then you see him with Peter later, and it was just, that moment was like, yo, that's such a beautiful, like, tie the bow up moment. And I was like, yeah, that's how Chadwick would have wanted, like, if he couldn't be a part of the character anymore, that's how he would want the character to be kind of written off. So it was definitely a cool thing. Plus, let's be real, like, through the whole What If series, like, T'Challa was the coolest character of all, the whole series.
Oh,
Even in scenes where he died, we were like, he was so badass.
He was like, yeah, I honestly think, like, look, as much as I love these final two episodes, I still think the T'Challa Star-Lord episode is still my favorite of the season. Yeah, man, it's wonderful. I'm with you, Cliff. Like, it's a really beautiful way to sort of send him off, and for us to sort of, get that last moment of closure. So, yeah, man. Yeah, these episodes were great. Fantastic. Like I said, I love them. I'm going to go ahead and say 10 out of 10 for both of them. I do want to mention something real quick before I get to your ranking, Cliff. Did they have, like, Kurt Russell for just like 20 minutes or something? Because I almost kind of forgot he was even in this show. But I'm looking at the cast list and I'm like, oh yeah, he was in like 2 scenes. I don't know. It just felt weird. Like, they could only afford him for like 20 minutes. He came in, did his line reading, and then got out. Like,
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's just like, hey, we just need you to read these 2 lines for Ego and just go away. He's just like, bet. How much am I getting paid for this? A mil a line? All right, yeah, I'm in. Disney money.
How much? All right.
Do I have to do anything? Do I have to shave? No? Just come in my PJs? You can have coffee for me? All right, I bet I'm in.
Yeah, I got 20 minutes after lunch. Sure, I can do that.
Not filming any projects. It's not like they have another Santa Claus movie coming out.
Do they? Are you saying that because they do, or they don't? Like, what
the Santa Chronicles? Like, I know they did the second one. I have not seen the one about a trilogy yet.
Well, that's why I'm saying, because, like, I watched the first 2. If there's a third one coming, I need to know. But yeah, no.
I'm not gonna front. Like, I'm not gonna act like I didn't like the Santa Chronicles. So
I'm straight up saying it. I liked those movies.
Yeah.
All right. And that's why I was like, bro, do you know something I don't? Like, tell me right now. Third one coming. But yeah, so what would you rate these last 2 episodes?
Yeah, give me a 10 out of 10 for both episodes, man. I loved that the Watcher. We talked so much about how cool everybody else was. The redemption for Stephen Strange was amazing.
That's right. But that's what I'm talking about. There was so much stuff happening in these last 2 episodes. It's hard to get it all in. Oh man. Yeah, that was great. That was pretty great.
Yeah, so I'll give it 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic way to end the season. And I can't wait for season 2. Like, we are getting a season 2. They confirmed that. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what you thought of season 1. What if? And, let us know what you thought specifically of the finale. Let us know what you thought. What were your favorite moments? All right. Cliff, you're not caught up on Stargirl, correct?
No, I am not caught up yet.
What was the last one you saw?
Is it chapter 7? I think it's chapter 7.
The Yolanda episode?
Yeah, where she quit. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I left off.
So I'll just give some quick thoughts on chapter 8 and chapter 9. Look, I'm going to give, off the top, I'm going to give both these episodes 10 out of 10. This show, Stargirl, killing it this season. More than I can say for Titans these last 2 weeks. Like, chapter 8 was great. It was a Rick-centric episode, and there was some great stuff with Rick. The cliffhanger was heartbreaking, to say the least. Like, this season has been a lot of like heartbreaking moments, but it works because like that's what Eclipso is doing. He's like trying to break the team, and he's doing it individually to the individual members. And it's so tough to watch, but like these episodes are written so well, they're handled so well. Chapter 8 with everything that happens with Rick, but also, okay, so we do get like the payoff to, we were teased that Eclipso was going to go after Beth. We get to see that happen, and that was also great because I am going to spoil this for you, Cliff. Beth is the only one who defeats Eclipso. She was the only one who beat Eclipso, like when he came for her. And I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was great because you remember earlier when we were talking about the big fight between the new ISA and the JSA, I was like, what's Beth doing there? She can't fight. She doesn't have powers. Like, what? Like, she seems like just collateral damage. And then she ends up being the only one who defeated Eclipso. I thought that was a great payoff. I thought that was great. And again, I'm sorry I had to spoil that for you, but I had to get that point across. So I really love chapter 8. Chapter 8 was great. Chapter 9, which is this week's episode, fantastic. Super intense. This episode upped the horror factor, and I even said this to the person I was watching the episode with. I was like, I know this is in July in the show, but doesn't this episode feel more appropriate for like October? Because it felt more like a horror movie, like and not even with like big scares or whatever, just like the atmosphere, the feeling of like something is terribly, terribly wrong, and you get the feel like it's only going to get worse from here on out. And it does. It only gets worse as the episode goes along. This episode was also a treat for me because it featured the debut on this show of John Wesley Shipp as Jay Garrick, aka The Flash. And it was great to see him. I love the interactions he had with Pat Dugan, played by Luke Wilson. I felt the two of them had such great chemistry in their scenes together that give me a Jay Garrick, Pat Dugan spinoff. I'm here for it. Like that was great.
You could call it Flash and Stripes.
There you go. I'm into it. Let's do it.
It's a play on words.
I love it. But yeah, I really loved this week's episode. This week's episode was fantastic. It was phenomenal. 10 out of 10 for me. It was great. So yeah, Stargirl, killing it. And I can't wait for you to get caught up, Cliff, so we can really talk about it. All right. Let's talk about Doom Patrol, Cliff. I know when season 3 dropped, you did not get caught up on the first. You said you're 4 episodes in, right?
Yeah.
4 episodes. So you did not see this week's episode?
I did not.
Okay. I'm going to save that one. I'm not even going to give general thoughts. Let's just do a quick let's do a quick thoughts on the first 4 episodes, because I do want to talk a little bit about episode 4. But yeah, man, how are you feeling about the season so far?
This is Doom Patrol, man. There's a whole lot of what the fucks are happening. A whole lot. I
Oh,
genuinely watch this show like I don't my brain cannot wrap around the concepts that some of these things are throwing out. I love the introduction of like death, right? And that they're going back. I loved Jesus the I love the fact that episode 2, right, we were talking about uh getting assigned a mission and staying dedicated to mission, but as time rolls on, like we kind of change too, and that's what we saw.
yeah,
And yeah, I know we're skipping over. I know I'm skipping over episode 1. Episode 1 was definitely significant. I love the fact that we finally, we got to see the wrap up on the candle maker, and we just a lot of things were just told to us. I get there's just like so much stuff to compute and like to download, like to talk
yeah,
about stuff
it
with
really is.
Cyborg going on right now. Jane's still going through her missions, like being the primary, and then you have death. Like there's just so much stuff. I don't even want to talk about episode 4 just yet. I want to with you and I talking about it. We could talk about it, but it's just
Yeah,
I was glad to see there was a lot of button ups, but I'm also glad to see some seams were pulled too, right? So
yeah,
obviously stuff that's going on with Negative Man and like losing the spirit, right? And
yeah,
him just kind of being his thing, and now we see him like he's violently reacting to certain things, right? There's the stuff going on with Rita and how she's trying to figure out how she was like her whole stuff going on and her dying, just and then like going into death and just everything just to me right now. I'm just like, there's so much shit going on. Watching Cliff tell his dad to fuck off for finally,
yeah.
like I
That was a great
genuinely,
moment.
like these are all in the first 3 episodes. Like we haven't even talked about what's going on in
But like,
episode
I,
4.
I love that moment. I love the moment with Cliff when he was talking to his dad in the afterlife, and he's like, F you and F that and blah blah. But like his dad was in such a place of like peace that he was just over it. Like it didn't phase him at all. You know what I mean? Like because he's
Yep.
like, oh, I'm beyond this. Like there's no point in being petty if you're dead. And I really liked that because it contrasted with, again, like where Cliff was. Like he was still angry and he was still like, there's regrets and whatnot. But you see in his dad, like, and like the idea, like, yeah, he probably did have all those things, but like he's been dead for however long that he's just like, well, there's really no point in hanging on to any of that stuff. So it's like, there, like you were saying, man, there's so much stuff that happened
Yeah.
in these
I
episodes that it's like you were saying, like trying to unpack it all
well,
is
okay. For instance, one of my other favorite parts, right? Cliff finding out that he's gonna be a grandfather, right? And he's coming up with names of like what to come up, like what to call him. He's like, Pappy, yeah, we're gonna go with Pappy. And then when he dies, he talks about how Claire has a baby, and he's like, and Dad was like, oh, my Claire had a granddaughter. He's like, you're Claire. That's my Claire.
yeah,
I'm the Pappy. You're not gonna take this shit away from me. I
yeah.
genuinely love Brandon Fraser in this show so much.
I keep telling people, man. I keep telling people. Like, if you're a fan of Brendan Fraser, you need to be watching Doom Patrol. He's doing some of his best work on this show. Like, and that's not even to discount everybody else on the show because they're all killing it too. But like specifically, if you're a fan of Brendan Fraser, you need to be watching Doom Patrol. I don't know how many times I need to say this, like, but I'll say it every time I have to. So, but yeah, man. Let me ask you a question because there was something I wanted to talk about when these episodes dropped, but you had not gotten caught up. So let's stay on episode 3, Dead Patrol. The characters that showed up, the Dead Boy Detective Agency. That's what I was talking about to you, where I was like, I didn't know they were going to be on the show this year, but I'm glad that they were, because I need a spin-off. I need a spin-off with those characters. Like, I'd watch that all day, every day, just based on what they did here on the show. Like, I need that. I need that in my life. So yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think about them? And like, because like I said, I saw them and I was like, are we doing this? We're really doing this. All right, let's
So seeing them, like, I genuinely had no idea like who they were and what their story is. So just to watch them through the adventure and obviously see like the pain, right, that they were going through and stuff, like trying to travel and stuff. I definitely liked it. I loved love to see when they're like, no, you're gonna astral form out. He's like, oh, word, really? And just like, bam, with the fire extinguisher, and he was just like, hey, wait a minute, what just happened? So
yeah.
to see their interactions though, and then they kind of dive a little bit into their stories and like understand like, you know, everybody has like this fucked up trauma with them, and I like seeing that they're kind of accepting their roles, like, hey, we're gonna help people genuinely, and we're gonna put ourselves at risk for this too. And I did like that, so I definitely was vibing with them. So yeah, as far as like seeing a secondary story, it would be, obviously it wouldn't be in the comedy world, but it would definitely have to be like that darker kind of, like that Swamp Thing kind of story. But I definitely could see that show playing out, and I could definitely see myself getting attached to it really quick.
Yeah, straight up, like, because I was so excited, because like you said, like, we got a little bit of like the backstory and the history, but it's like those characters are so rich with potential to tell such a great story over the course of however many episodes, that I'm like, I was just, yeah, give me that. Like, please give me that show. Like, it doesn't even have to be a series. Like, even if you just did a mini series, give me 6 episodes with those characters and I'll be happy. But yeah, I genuinely wanted to talk to you about that, because they were straight up some of the standouts for me from that episode. I mean, the whole episode was great, loved it, but for sure, like, they were the highlight for me. Yeah, man, there's just so much good, man. There's so much good in these episodes. Uh, yeah. Go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead.
No, you're on the right part. Like, I mean, just them alone and just seeing like the interactions that we're getting with everybody, it's so cool. And see Chief's daughter was like finally like, I gotta have my own growth path, right? So I'm gonna go with them. And you know, we get to see her kind of like, she's obviously leaving, she'll come back, you know, but we're obviously seeing the growth of her character as well. Because, you know, at the beginning of the series, Chief's daughter was like, nah, like, I'm still very timid. But then like midway through, like when she got captured and pulled into the fire, she was like, remember, you're in my mind, I control you. And like,
Yeah.
even like in the second episode, right, we saw Jane, and Jane was like, does he want to come out and play? And she's like, I'm not letting him. So she like has this control over like her mind character is great. I just love genuinely seeing that. And then you see her in the third episode, and she's like, hey guys, I'm sorry, I have to go on my own. And then boop, she's gone. You know that she's gonna go off to do some bigger and better things. But it was genuinely exciting to see like even her character is gonna be joining in and taking off. So I'm cool with the Dead Boys and seeing Chief's daughter take off with them.
Yeah, straight up, man. There was a lot of great stuff with Dorothy in these first couple episodes, and oh man, yeah, I think you said it pretty well. Said it.
Talk
Yeah,
about
totally
and talk
better.
about a real wrap up moment. What about the thread that, and I talk about the threads that got pulled, right? And I don't mean that in the sense of Negative Man getting his threads and pulled, but the big one that Cyborg's mom revealed,
Yeah,
like that was massive. Your father chose that, and then like, you know, obviously we get back and we see, you know, we see Cyborg is like talking to his dad later, and he's just like, you had a choice, and you know, and I know this is leading into episode 4, but just the fact that his dad had a choice and chose to go another path versus another one, right? It's just,
yeah,
the effects that we're starting to see now, like that little pebble made some pretty big fucking waves.
Massive, yeah. And also, like, I'm glad you bring this up because this is something I've been meaning to mention in regards to Doom Patrol. So, the version of Cyborg on this show, it's not the same. I mean, I'm not saying, like, obviously it's not the same continuity as we see in the movies, but I mean also, like, particularly the technology that made him cyborg. Like in the movie and in the New 52 comic books, Victor Stone was fused together with a mother box, and that's how he became cyborg. That doesn't seem to be the case here on this show. Like, this seems to be a previous continuity version where, like, yeah, like, obviously it's cutting edge technology developed by Star Labs, which is where Silas worked, and then he used it to save his son. But that's a very important distinction to make, because I feel like if some people, if you've only seen like the recent animated movies that were adaptations of the New 52, or if you've only seen like Zack Snyder's Justice League or whatever, and you think that that's the only origin for Victor Stone as Cyborg, it's not really. And this version of the character seems to be pulling from that continuity, and I like that. I like that they did that. So, and yeah, and like that revelation that Silas made a conscious choice that this was how he was going to save his son's life, it does pull from that. So yeah, I was really glad to see that they're doing that, because you're right. Like, again, like there's so much stuff to talk about in these episodes that it kind of it's hard to, like, oh, there's this thing that happened and this thing that happened and this thing that happened. There's so much, but yeah, you're right. I feel like Cyborg is getting a lot, especially like even in this week's episode, which again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you in this one, Cliff, but there is something that happens, specifically in regards to Silas and that relationship between Silas and Victor, which I thought was really poignant.
Right.
Not really emotional, but definitely it was a moment. It was a moment of growth for both of them, and I was really happy to see that. But yeah, man, whew, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. We're talking about, like, we're just talking about Death Patrol. We're not even talking about, like I said, man. We are talking about Vacate Patrol. Like, that whole episode had a great story in it too, where finally, like, decisions were made, growth patterns were formed, and we just kept seeing the growth. We get to Death Patrol, we had the same thing. Can we finally just talk about episode 4? I will give you my ratings. Yeah, so I will give you my ratings, right? Episode 1, I loved it a lot, 10 out of 10. Episode 2, there's some things in there that I was kind of like, I'm not really feeling it, but I will still give it 9.25. Death Patrol, love the stories, 9.5. Episode 4, man, like, one of my friends sent me a message, and he knew that I hadn't seen it yet. He goes, "You're not ready for episode 4." That's all he said, and I was like, whatever. I was like, what could it be, right? And, like, not that I will just, we see characters are starting to, like, form spots, right? And as I mentioned, right, we saw obviously Negative Man violently throwing stuff up because he didn't have spirit, so we were kind of assuming that's something. But then, like, his bandages are turning colors.
Yeah.
I was like,
I like the discoloration on the bandages, but also like Cliff on his metallic part. That was great. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the Doom Patrol turned into zombies in this episode. Yo, this episode was crazy because it not even just the fact that they were zombified in this episode, but like the return of the werebutts. I saw somebody posted a clip of that, like when Homeboy took his pants down and he transformed, and it was literally that clip, and it was this is from Doom Patrol, ? And Jovan Wade, who plays Cyborg in the show, retweeted it and was like, yeah. And I was like, that is the attitude to have when you're on this show. He's just like, yeah, boy, that's from the show I'm on. It's like, right on, man. But yeah,
Dude.
like I feel like this episode perfectly embodies the spirit and the attitude of this show. Like,
Yes.
just so weird and bizarre, like just out there concepts. Like
Yes. Let's not pretend that we still don't have ghosts fucking in a house like, from season 2.
yes.
They make random appearances all over the place. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm not even mad about this. It's like this happens. This is the thing. This is the thing that I'm just gonna have to get used to.
My favorite part was when we skipped over this when Chief's ghost saw them and they were like, join us, and he's like, oh, what the hell? You know, like, yeah, might as well. I mean, why not?
Right? Like
That was
so
great.
like
Yeah.
yeah, so they're dead, right? And obviously we get the return of some of our favorite characters. Let's not fake the funk, because it was great to see damn it, it was on the tip of my tongue and now I just lost his name.
Willoughby.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was great to see Willoughby back, and like then he's trying to work with Madam, right? And they're trying to figure out like what to do. And like, yeah, just genuinely like they had the hats on and they had a fucking pine scent. Like this, like everything that Doom Patrol could be is in this episode. Like it's not even like expect the unexpected anymore. Because it's not. It's just, hey, just know that in this episode some fucked up shit's gonna happen. And I'm just gonna go ahead and address the room, right? So you have the werebutts, and they're legitimately attacking our zombified Doom Patrol, in which
I
then
know
we
where
just,
going with this.
yeah, we legitimately see a zombie eating ass. Like, this is a
That
thing
was the moment. That was the moment when I was watching this episode, and I was just like, "Yep, this is Doom Patrol."
Yeah. I was like, I
wasn't even like shocked or anything. I was just like, "Yeah, that seems like something that would happen on this show."
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, think about like all like the what if moment, like the what the fuck moments that we've had, like for this show, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like this is it's weird that I'm still shocked by this show. Like, genuinely just shocked by this show. I'm just like watching the show, like, yeah, you know, I don't know why I didn't see this coming, but I didn't see this coming. It's like, and I don't know why. The first season,
that's like the attitude I have when something like this happens. It's always like, I did not see that coming, but I should have. So,
yeah, because when he transforms into a werebutt, I was like, okay, yeah, it is, because you know he legitimately explained, you guys left me there, like obviously now you guys know, like ha 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 ha, and then like
bite mark, and it's like, oh, he's one of them.
and then
But then,
see Jane just
face first, like not holding back. I know, like legitimately, I was watching it and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
And then like Rita,
Oh,
like also like Rita's like joining in too, but she's like, it's so funny to see it, right? Like there's two types of people like approaching this problem, and one's like little bites, and the other one's just like full head in. Like,
yeah. I did like that. I did like that as well. That was great.
also, and then they find the solution to like. Also, by the way, I love the fact that we're getting subtitles for how zombies speak.
Yeah, I love that as well. I thought that was great.
And I love that Willoughby understands them. Just
Yeah, he didn't even need to translate.
Yeah.
Look, Cliff, we're running a little bit long, so we got to start wrapping this. I know there's so much we need.
I'm
That's
trying
worth.
to unpack. I'm trying to unpack my mind.
Yeah, but we gotta start wrapping it up. But so yes, episode 4, Undead Patrol. Again, if you're thinking about dipping your toe into this show, even if you haven't seen anything prior to, watch this episode and decide if this is something you want to dive into face first. Because, like I said, this episode perfectly embodies everything that this show is. But yes, what would you rate this episode, Cliff?
12 out of 10.
Same. I agree. It's everything we tune into this show for. So, but yeah, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Doom Patrol. If you're watching it, and I hope you are, let us know your thoughts, because I want to talk to you if you're watching Doom Patrol. So, but yeah, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got to start wrapping it up because I'm running low on time. But we'll be back next week for sure and we're going to talk about. Hopefully, we'll talk about all the newest episodes of TV. Hopefully, Cliff will be fully caught up next time. But until then, Cliff, let everybody know where they can find you online.
Linktree.com/the_reddog85. Just check me out there. Check out all the stuff that we got going on with the podcast. Also, Nerds of Roundtable, 3-Count Podcast. They're now entering the ring. Just go check me out.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know what to do. Go show them the love. Show them some support. Buy some merch while you're at it. You can see some of it behind him right now. There he is. Cliff Miller, the red dog. I'm going to start calling you Cliff Dog. But there he is. Go show him all the love and the support. Swag is not with us today, but still go over and check out his YouTube channel, Mr. Swagtastic on YouTube. It's a good time. I know he just uploaded some new content over there, so go check it out. It's a good time. I am, of course, Antonio Padilla. You can find me on all social media at Tron Pilgrim or at Tron Pilgrim 87. Don't forget to, if you're watching this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with anyone you think might enjoy it, and hit that bell notification. Get these videos as soon as they're uploaded. If you're listening to us on anchor.fm/nerds, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere podcasts are available. You can like Nerds of the Roundtable on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Nerds of the Roundtable. Follow us on Twitter @RealNerds_. Whew, I think I'm getting better at that. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Join us next time. Same nerd channel. Good night, folks.